The rebate into NEO last week made for another 6.7% gain. As I told you I would buy NEO on Monday, I posted on the YouTube video when I bought. I was able to buy at 7:30. NEO had a good rest of the day Monday, and on Tuesday, I believe it was Tuesday, it peaked at 8.20. Using a trailing stop loss with 5%, when NEO started to go downwards on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, NEO was finally cut at 7.79, giving me 6.7% profit. And that is why you should use trailing stop loss. But the new week is here. It's week 47. You are listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, Trading Tips with Jim. And with a slight cold, I will guide you through the next 20 minutes what I think will happen in the market in the week ahead of us. And of course, give you this week's $1,000 challenge where I will head in to a new company. Which company? Well, you have to wait till the end of the podcast. As I told you, I had a slight cold, started last week. Hopefully it will end by this week. But I was able to snuggle out on some metal detecting during the weekend. But I was not able to find anything really nice. Some coins from the 1700, but none of any value, and mostly what we call dead, meaning that there is hardly any details left on the coin. That was more or less the story of the week, because my portfolio did good, but my guess that the market would fall was wrong. Nasdaq was up 2.37% last week, and Dow Jones almost 2%. Nasdaq currently sitting just above 14,000 at 14,125 points. As we speak, Nasdaq is as overbought as I haven't seen Nasdaq. I cannot remember last time I saw Nasdaq be this high on relative strength index. On the 14-day relative strength index, Nasdaq is currently sitting at 91. It's screaming correction down. And while I will not do this in the $1,000 challenge, I will for sure put a short. But this week there will be new quarter results, and one of them is coming tomorrow. It will be Nvidia, and Nvidia can push the entire market over this last year, 2023. 7 stocks have been in general pushing the market. They are called the 7 magnificent stocks. And I think they had an average gain of 60%. They have been pushing the market all week, and Nvidia is of course one of them with a 240% gain during the year. Other than that, there will be Thanksgiving on Thursday, so it will be a shortened trading week. Mainly it will be some quarter results, and on Friday there will be cost of production numbers. The PMI numbers will come on Friday. The world is somewhat stable, not too much negative news from the Middle East and not too much negative numbers from Ukraine. So I think this week it might come down to quarter results, two things, quarter results and the fact that Nasdaq is overbought. And if you do like I do, I read a lot of news. I trying to stay on top of things. You can easily get confused because there is so mixed signals. What we consider to be the professionals, of course, the top of the major broker houses or the major banks, they are diverting in all sorts of directions. Someone say we're heading for a Christmas rally, some say that we're heading for a major fall. Last week I told you that one of the world's biggest shorters had put a big short on the market, but he has flipped his position. And Warren Buffett, he keeps selling stocks, while others say that it will be the rally. So what will it be? It's very hard to say. I told you, and I've been telling you over the last few podcasts, after being correct 6-7 weeks in a row, every week was correct on what will happen during the week. For the last 2 weeks, I've been wrong. I would believe Nasdaq would have a slight red week 2 weeks ago, and last week I thought it would be a more stronger fall. But opposite happened because Nasdaq was pushing up both weeks. Now, that thing is defying a bit laws. And many people say the same thing, that we are too high. But as I stated, the good thing about all of this is that Nasdaq is building support below. And a natural correction is just natural correction. And in my world, we can have a natural correction. We should, in fact, have a natural correction. Hopefully it turns somewhere around 13,600, 13,500. And we are just heading for a nice upturn, and maybe even can have a super rally at the end of the year. Everything is possible, but if we look at the long-term chart, we see that Nasdaq is just getting up to the previous top, 14,300, and it's also getting very close to be overbought on the relative strength index in the long-term chart, 21 days relative strength index. And usually when these things happen, you can just watch for yourself. Go to Stock Invest, type in any ticker, or type in IXIC, or any index you like, and you will see the relative strength index just below the charts. You will even see in the charts colored green or red in the price line. That is the relative strength index, and when it gets too high, there is always a correction. So a correction is coming no matter what. I might be wrong even this week that it will correct, but a correction is doomed, and it is just natural. We just have to try to play the game accordingly, how we position ourselves. Yes, I should have had higher exposure in the markets last 2 weeks. As I was reducing a little bit, as I told you, I do this when I think it will be a red market. I reduce my exposure a little bit. But anyway, it made for a good week. Most of the stocks in my portfolio, I have a few portfolios, were doing very well. But one of the portfolios who currently been struggling for a few weeks now is the oil portfolio. But I told you, I got in when oil was even as 20. Then I told you many years, I believe it's 2 years ago now, maybe even 3. This podcast is on the 4th year. When oil was that low, I said buy for whatever you have, and I personally did, and that has resulted in some extreme nice gains. I told you I think there will be a last rally, and then I will be out of oil. Oil currently sitting at $76, down $2 from last week. I think it's the 4th week that oil is struggling. Main reason for oil struggling are 2 things. It is uncertainty about the world economic health. How is actually the health in the different economies? And the fact that Bin, he opened up for Iran and Venezuela to sell more oil. What is the worst? Better or worse, that Russia sell oil, or Venezuela, or Iran? I don't know. And he is releasing, I think it is 180 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserves. You heard me say that low oil price is good for the market. Indeed it is. And we see this, it correlates extremely well. Now, oil going down is good, but there is an underbalance, and this week OPEC Plus will have their talks. And we will see if there will be more cuts from the OPEC. I remain bullish still in oil, but I have to start slowly rethink all my positions. I have taken a few profits, but maybe I should take some more profits. Mainly it's the very nice dividends that being paid. But oil has not followed the market lately. But I still, as I said, remain positive for oil, and I think oil will have a good week. We will see who will be right. And small teaser, maybe, just maybe, the company that I will go into is an oil-based company. More about that in just a few minutes. But let's wrap up the argument for this week. So you heard me say that Nasdaq is as overbought as it haven't been. 91 on the relative strength index for 14 days is just crazy. And I will never recommend anyone to do shorting in general. In this podcast, we try to stay safe. I don't want any of you to lose money, but I am on the shorting bet. Put shorts on Friday. We will see how that trade will go. In general, you should, unless you are very experienced try to go into very liquid stocks. That's my best guess. And over this year, that's been a stated fact, as some of the biggest, very super liquid stocks have had some of the absolutely best gains, while the rest of them have struggled. Some persons ask me, so what about NIO moving forward? Well, NIO is showing all the signs to having double bottoms, doubling around some $7. And personally, I'm into NIO because I'm a great believer in green technology in the future. It was a hype and it was too much of the good 2 years back. But we will, moving forward, head for green energy. But before these things really turn, a lot of the companies that started that first wave might end up going bankrupt or wiped out of the business. Usually old money wins, and old money is flowing into different companies. Sometimes you should just follow where they go. About NIO, I'm not sure where it will head. Currently, I've went from a very strong profit into a loss. Currently, personally, I'm sitting in NIO with losses, been accumulating a little bit more shares. But that trade is way too risky. If you are thinking about a company like NIO or Tesla or something, I personally would look and wait for a little bit more solid upturn, especially for NIO, which is in a very strong downwards trend. Let the trend be your friend, and that in that case NIO is not your friend, but it may turn. The first signs will be the break of the trend or double bottoms. That is usually when it is a good buying opportunity. Now, relative strength index being 91, Nasdaq being up weeks and weeks in a row, heading for all top. Looking at the buy signals, they usually give a clear idea. And last week, all the tickers that we analyzed, 28,000 tickers, I believe, is included this week into this analysis. Last week, it was 26% buy signals. Nasdaq was down at 20 and New York Stock Exchange at 26. And I said that there's usually room for more upturn. An upturn, it came. But this week, across all the markets we analyze, it's 36% buy signals. Going to Nasdaq is 32, moving up from 20 last week to 32, starting to get high. It's not very high because we have seen it over 40, and that is usually when things go very bad. Buying opportunity, as usually is, as last time when I start saying buy in Nasdaq, it was down at 14. That was, or maybe even less, and it was an obvious buying opportunity. New York Stock Exchange also at 32, starting to get high, but they're not too high. But I combine this with a high relative strength index and saying that they are high. London 35%, Tokyo up from 24 to 27%, and Shenzhen China from 37 to 48%. All of the numbers are on the higher end. The thing is, when buy signals are too high, we are too optimistic, you will have the natural correction down. People will take profit, and you will have an upturn. But it might be that just this week, Nasdaq will do like it did last week, all week in overbought. Seen this happen when things get too optimistic. It stays too optimistic longer than you think. But we will see who will be correct. Gold, you know I'm a gold fan of gold because it's a very secure item in these times of uncertainties. Inflation numbers came in last week. They were lower than market expected, and that was why market reacted so good. I thought they would come in the upper end, but I was wrong. They came in at the lower end. Work numbers, they keep going up. Highest unemployment rate in the United States, I believe now for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe this number will just keep going up, and the market bet is that they will keep going up and inflation remain low, and that Fed will not increase their interest rates. But Fed will soon speak, and that may give a new direction for the markets. So you have to just decide for yourself. 10-year treasury yield, when this one goes up, markets go down. When this goes down, market goes up. And last week it fell by 4%, currently sitting at 4.44. Indeed, very interesting time is the time where things can go sky high or they can go sky low. I don't think there will be an even week this week. It will be a high movement in either direction. My bet, and I argued a lot of this, is that it will be a fall. If I repeat long enough, I will be of course correct. That is what you say about everyone who says that market will have a correction. And as I said, last 2 weeks I was wrong after a long period of just being right. But I will remain restrictive. I will not overexposure, and I am a firm believer that when Nasdaq is at 91 at the relative strength index, it is too overbought. A natural reaction has to come. It will just be interesting to see how deep it will be, because it may not be deep at all. May just be 13,900, and then we start on a new upturn. But I will believe that there will be a reaction. Now I believe personally, and that's the thing about the podcast, is trying to give you my personal insight, that it will be deeper than that. Personally, I believe that we should see at least 13,300 or 500 before we turn. But if it turns there, I will be very optimistic for the next upturn. Go down, recalculate a little bit, get a little bit more power, a little bit more incentive, and it might just be the end of the year that you were dreaming for. That was indeed the conclusion for this week. As I told you, it will be a lot of quarter results. You have to keep an eye on that. Tomorrow will be Best Buy, HP, and Nvidia is like the major one of them. Today, if you're very interested, will be Zoom. Some of these companies who spiked up during COVID times, they are slowly going bust. Will that be the case for Zoom as well? Well, you have to see. We know that WeWork went terrible, and signs are showing that a lot of other companies are doing the same. Dollar, by the way, is weakening against the euro. Currently sitting at 109, if I'm not mistaken. At the very best, it was even 98 to 1 against euro. So dollar was super strong, slowly weakening. Weakening dollar is good in some cases. For the economies, it will be very interesting to see, and maybe I will have to eat my words about recession. But read the news. I urge you to do that. Read the news, what is happening, and maybe even you feel it yourself. Things are getting harder and harder by the day, but the stock market will always be in front of the rest of the economy. And when we move for 3, 4, 5, 6 years ahead, it might be that we were just at a natural correction, and Nasdaq will be sitting at 20,000 points. We will see, currently sitting at 14,000. The peak and the top was during Trump, when it hit 16,000 something, and then had a strong correction downwards to 10,500 about. And currently then back to 14,000 after a strong, so far, 2023. You have patiently been waiting for what is the next trade in the $1,000 challenge, where I wanted to double the money before Christmas and really make these $1,000 grow fast and strong. And I have to admit, I haven't been up to the game. After doing years of a portfolio, sharing every week one of the main portfolios, doing good, I flipped the game this summer over to a $1,000 challenge, resetting everything so people could follow. We've been in and out of a few stocks. Currently, after last week, 6.71% gain. Portfolio sits at 18% profit. We've been beating the market, but just marginally. Not much to say hooray of. And being week 47 is not many weeks left for Christmas. Can I, during the next 5 weeks, double the initial 1,000, make it 2,000, where we will grow it from 2,000 to 10,000? Will I be able to do it? I don't know. So far, it is, I would just say, average. Most of you should be able to do just the same without any real hassle, and some of you probably done much better than that. I would like to blame it on being out of the shape, but in general I think I'm just unfocused. I need to get my act back together if I will be able to do the $1,000 challenge. But luckily it's only my own money I'm gambling, and I play by the rule. I only gamble with money I stand to lose. There is two things that we will not do. We will not play too hard on the penny stocks now and then. They buy them because that's where your huge profit is, and typically the end of the year is like penny stock rally. We will not do that too much because it's a certain way of losing money, and we will not take too high risk when I think market in general is at the risk. I want to play those who are falling very hard, have a huge volume upturn, something we like to call a dead cat bounce or a verified bottom. That is the normal game I would play. But this week, as I told you, I think it might be a red week. I want to go a little safe. I don't want to blow all the money if things go really south, and still have an opportunity, an upside. And I said one of the famous memes in all of the stock market, let the trend be your friend. And this week I will go into TK, and TK is an oil company, small oil company in the marine transport sectors globally, have I don't know 55-60 ships, and mainly support that. And we just have to rewind maybe 3, 4, 5 podcasts back. I told you I think the marine sector will do very good. As Biden will release oil, market will try to flood more oil. Who will benefit from this? Well, the vessel industry should benefit from it. Now that's where I'm going to place my bet this week. I will try to go into TK. It's TK, the ticker. The name is also TK. If I'm correct, if oil will be on an upturn, I should stand to make some percentages. I will try to have a somewhat tight stop loss because this is not too volatile stock. Seems to me to be a lot of support down below, meaning that if markets go sour and everything starts to go red, I should be able to cut my loss. I will even have a stop loss as always. But in general, I think that I can manage somewhat. You have to remember that if we get one bad news after market close, one really bad news, market may open up 2-3% down the next day. Your stock may open down 10% down next day, and your stop loss will not work. That is the one few things that is about stop losses. That if your trigger limit, if the stock open under your trigger limit, it will not be triggered. So you have to learn more about that. 23 minutes into the podcast, I think it is time to end it. As I told you, I have a slight flu and can feel that I'm not really up to my game. But I will be ready when markets open to find a position where to buy TK. And I will put the comment in the YouTube video because I cannot do it on Spotify where most of my followers are, and I'm very happy for you. But I will try to buy TK as cheap as I can, and I will notify you next week how that trade went. Snow will slowly be coming here to Lithuania. It's weather forecast say it will come this week, and when I was out this weekend, the ground was starting to get a little hard. Hopefully I will have a few more digs before season finally is over, and maybe just maybe I will be able to post some very nice finds for you to see, because it's good to have a hobby outside the world of trading. We will end with a few upgrades, and the upgrades are as followed. At Stock Invest you will find a lot more new tools. Dividend is there, earnings releases has been for a long time, insider trades has been there. AI is upgraded heavily, new things coming all along. Advise you to check that out. I haven't been able to work as much as I wanted on the Chart Boot Trader because it's been so much things to do. But I hope that I finally will be able to get back to it. The chart trader you will find at getthegraph.com. It's my private personal adventure trying to create the perfect autobot. So far it is still in profit, following the market somewhat close, and it's time to make it even better. I know exactly what to do, just need the time to do it all. I hope you will have a super week. I hope you will like the video or like the podcast. Maybe even write a comment. Help me grow the channel. And if not, I wish you a very good week. Anyway, I hope it will be very green. That when we speak next week, your portfolio will be much greener than it was when the week started. Until next time, just have a perfect week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.US Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.US. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.